All right, man. Let's talk about Will Anderson, potential, blue chip top prospect next year. A lot of people thought he, deserved more Heisman votes than Aiden Hudson, finishing second last year. Probably some people believe he should have been the Heisman Trophy winner last year. Honestly, um, dominant um, pass rusher. You look at some mock drafts, he up there. Last year he had 17 and a half sacks, but then again, what goes with that, he playing on some of some of the most talented football team. They had fucking all-star. Remember the all Madden team, let's stay is in the college level. Last year he totaled 101 tackles, 57 solo, 44 assists, 17 and a half sacks. This year he already got a forced fumble, 7 sacks on 52 tackles, 33 solo tackles already. So, I mean, he rolling. They got a huge game Saturday on CBS against the Tennessee Vows, and he's a monster. How Georgia let him get out of the state of Georgia, I don't know, but he made to Alabama, and a lot of people saying, well, the Lions should have their eyes on him. But like I said, the you know the the rebuild can't start unless you get a quarterback of the future. And knowing the cheap forwards, it's gonna have to be the quarterback of the now. And at the end of the day, a lot of people feel like well, we can't really you know um, take a chance on Bryce Young because he's so small and fragile. We got enough injury prone players already here. You know, so and I understand that argument. Going through this season, people talking about the issue here, this the issues is injuries. And I'm gonna keep saying that. That's the really the telltale of this season is injuries. You know, and they gotta start um drafting some thorough guys, some Iron Men, guys who gonna be healthy. You can't be the youngest team in basketball and the youngest team in football and be the most injury prone team. How does that sound? Don't make no sense. So, but sometimes, man, I mean, like the Giants, they drafted Phil Simms and they had an opportunity to get Reggie White coming out the USFL, I think, comparing with Lawrence Taylor. And I remember too, they won a Super Bowl without Phil Simms. He was injured. Jeff Hostetler did the Nick Foles before Nick Foles for the Giants. So imagine that defense. But the quarterback is so important that you got to have a plan. And even if you have a plan to get Lamar Jackson, you do get a top pick or one of the top picks. Then the question becomes, you got to change. You got to turn that over to Baltimore. Unless the Rams just keep descending, and it's kind of not customary for the Super Bowl champions to have a hangover the Rams are having, but they haven't won. But Sean McVay is a very bright coach, and I think they might figure a few things out. But Aaron Donald looking like a shell of himself, he was going to retire, and they begged him to come back. He probably was retiring for a reason, and now you paid him all that money, and his heart not in it no more. So now that also can have effect. Now they have a bad season, Stafford beat up and stuff and all that. They have a bad season. I mean, then you start thinking like, man, we might can give away one of these picks and still end up with a guy like Will Anderson. Now your mind started to kind of like wander off a little bit. I don't know much about Will Levis from Kentucky, so I can't tell you about him, but apparently he up there. And it's way too early, but if Will Anderson is the top rated guy, I think Jared Goff showed this season that, hey, man, you can get by with him for a little bit longer. You can pair Will Harris with Aiden Hutchinson. I think you go ahead and do that. I think that becomes a no-brainer. I'm not a big believer in CJ Stroud. You know, I just, man, I mean, I had to probably look at more film, but every time I see them in a tight moment or play somebody, he don't show up. You know, he feasts on lesser schools, and that's what I see from him. And I'm a believer in Justin Fields, even though he getting a raw deal. But I don't know much about Will Levis. You know, but he in the top conference, and we gonna find out. So he pretty much hold on. He's 23 years old, so he's older. Like he started at Penn State. I could be wrong here. That's what the jersey look like. Let's see. So yeah, he started at Penn State. Yep. He didn't do nothing in 2 seasons at Penn State. Got to Kentucky with Mark Stoops, 24 touchdowns, 13 interceptions last year. This year he 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So he up there. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know much about him. He's from Connecticut. So he up there. But the Bryce Young, that's gonna scare people. The size of Bryce Young, even though the Lions' offensive line is pretty good, they're taking the safety Antonio Johnson. I don't know much about him. But yeah, this is super duper early. So, I mean, but if Will Anderson is by far the best on the board, you know, and you compare him with Aiden Hutchinson, that's hard to pass up. You know, and that's why I said it was very critical last year for them to take a Malik Willis and develop him. You know what I'm saying? That way you would stop hearing people complain about the quarterback position. And Goff has kind of quietly shut that down a little bit until last week. But, you know, Goff has showed that he can buy you time until you find that guy. You know, he showed you that he can, you know, he can buy you some time. Excuse me. He can buy you some time. You know, so you know if he can buy you some time, you know what I'm saying? Cool. Cool. Get Will Anderson, and then you know you look to make something happen at the position. But you know, Goff is just, you know, he's just a bridge guy. So at some point, you want to build the bridge and pass it over. And that's the honest truth. At some point, you're gonna have to, you know, you have to get that guy. And if you know Brad Holmes don't get that guy, you know, he get fired without getting that guy, man. He just wasn't the guy for the job. He wasn't. He kind of got, to me, this is my opinion, he just got too much of that I'm the smartest dude in the room mentality. It's just perfect for the Lions. He had so many guys that thought they was the smartest GM in the room, and they were dumb as a bag of rocks, as a box of rocks. He gave me that arrogant type of vibe. And I could be wrong, but he gave me that vibe. You know, he really do. Hopefully he can, and hopefully if that's the case, you know, hopefully this shit humbled him. Hopefully this humbled him. But yeah, I wouldn't be Will Anderson would be a slam dunk. But you know, we're not going to talk too much on the Rams situation, but we have to wait and see where that goes. So, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase chance of notifications. We go live and drop video. Financially, want to support the channel? Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. Find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the whole nine. Appreciate the love, support. Peace.